Tensions are escalating in Myanmar. Beyond the bloody street protests against the February 1st coup, there is fighting now in the east near the border with Thailand. And that's where Ian Lee is going to bring us up to speed. Ian, you are in London with that story as well as other international headlines. What's going on in Myanmar?
Good morning, Amory. Yeah, the fighting is between the military and ethnic minority Karen insurgents, and this comes as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations met to end the violence after the coup. And Myanmar's military leaders said that they would consider the suggestions, but a pre-dawn attack by the Karen National Union seized an outpost close to the border with Thailand. The separatists occupied, then burnt down the camp. Local witnesses also report fighting elsewhere. And there's been a sharp escalation of violence in Myanmar after the coup by various ethnic armed groups. Some of them have openly supported the protesters on the streets. So far, though, Myanmar's military hasn't commented. Next, we are in Nigeria, where 2 students kidnapped last Tuesday have been killed. And they were part of a larger group of 20 students and 3 staff members taken from a university in the country's north. 3 other students had been previously killed, bringing now the total to 5. The government called the kidnappings and killings a barbaric terror attack, while a massive search and rescue operation is underway. Kidnappings, though, have been on the rise, with gangs holding victims for ransom. We now move on to Moscow, where the chief prosecutor there ordered a stop to the political movement of jailed opposition leader Alexey Navalny. And this includes all activities at his offices across the country, while a court decides whether to uphold the freeze. This is just the beginning. Russian officials also want a court to designate Navalny and his organizations as extremist groups. This would put them on the same level as ISIS. A lawyer representing Navalny says these moves show the Kremlin's fear of the opposition. Finally, we have some good news out of Portugal. The country reported no daily deaths from COVID-19 for the first time since August. At one point, Portugal had one of the highest infection rates in Europe, but a long lockdown since January helped curb the pandemic. Now the country has one of the lowest. Portugal hopes its vaccination program can keep the numbers down, but there have been delays in getting the approved vaccines to countries across the European Union. And Amory, the EU is blaming one manufacturer, and as you were just talking before this segment, AstraZeneca, they say that it's not delivering on time, and they're filing a legal action against the drug maker. And AstraZeneca says the move is without merit, though. And some in the EU believe the drug maker has showed preferential treatment to the UK, where the vaccine is made, although the company denies that as well.
Yeah, it's been really interesting following that whole sort of storyline, Ian. You know, the EU was really sort of banking on AstraZeneca to make up the bulk of their vaccination program. That's not happening now, so they're sort of leaning into other vaccines. But while all these vaccines were being developed, countries were scrambling to kind of hammer out deals with different companies, trying to guess who would come out with a really good vaccine first. And so it's really difficult to negotiate purchases on the back end when, you know, Pfizer and other vaccine manufacturers, they already have obligations to fulfill here in the U.S. and other countries around the world. That is a whole conversation that hopefully after we get through this pandemic, we can talk about that vaccine nationalism and whether we're ready for, you know, the next pandemic that may be coming. Ian, thank you so much.